Hello and welcome to the Home Screen Podcast. This is episode 22. Today is another solo episode as I'm talking about a game, something that's come out very recently, free on Game Pass, quite handily, is Blueprints. It's quite hard to describe the type of game that Blueprints is. People are referring to it as a Metroidvania in the sense that it's got roguelike elements. There's no combat in this. All you can do is move and solve puzzles. So the synopsis, the premise of the game is essentially you're the heir of a manor called Mount Holly in a town that I believe is called Reddington. You've been left as inheritance, but in order to actually claim the manor as your own and to move in and to become the new baron of the estate, you essentially have to reach room 46. The manor consists of 45 rooms. It's a 9x5 grid, and you essentially, every time you approach a door, you're given a choice of 3 other doors that you can choose to draft. And the whole premise of the game is you draft doors and you essentially create your own maze, your own kind of like pathways through this labyrinth of a path. The catch is that at the end of a day, when you decide to call it a day, the house resets and you're back to square one in the morning. There are a few permanent unlocks, so it's kind of a resource management, currency management. The 3 main currencies really is, I guess in the early game, is coins, gems, and keys. You need those to access rooms higher up into essentially further down your run throughout the manor. The earlier rooms, a lot of the doors will just open and they've got quite a lot of pathways, although the deeper into the house you get, the further into your run you get. You'll need keys to unlock doors, you'll need gems to draft better rooms that perhaps have more doors leading off them. And the tricky thing about this is you're only given 50 steps. To do so. Every time you enter a room, you lose a step. So you have to really carefully plan your route. There's a lot of RNG involved in this, so you could be having a perfect run, absolute blinder, and then you just don't get any rooms with keys, or you just hit dead ends and you just can't get to where you want to be. So I had quite a few runs actually where I had the resources, the materials, the items needed to get to the antechamber to unlock it, although then the RNG nature of the game would just keep sending me in weird directions. There are a few permanent unlocks, and I don't want to spoil that here because I think the beauty of the game really is your first time playing it through and experiencing it and figuring out all the puzzles on your own. I did have to use a guide to help me with a handful of them. In the late game, having finally got there, after like an hour and a half into a run, I didn't really want to have to go back to square one just because I didn't have power in a certain room, etc. But definitely try to go into this blind and try and solve them for yourself because it is super rewarding. I became quite obsessed with this and have been playing it on and off for the week after its release. I did beat the game and I beat it on day 30. A few stats about my completion run. I drafted 32 total rooms, rank 10 obviously, took 98 steps, found 13 items and discovered 2 new rooms. The path it took me obviously was very RNG based. I got quite lucky with a lot of green rooms. It took me along the west wing. I won't say my methods exactly because obviously the best way to do this is just to go in blind. But yeah, it is a game of the year contender. It's very much akin to games like Outer Wilds. The enjoyment of the game is in like pure discovery and the learning process. And knowing what you need to do, where you need to go, and mastering it in the perfect run. Me being a big Destiny fan, obviously very, very different genres, but having that RNG element and that chance of, one more run, this could be the perfect run if I just get lucky, if I just do the right things, really appealed to me. And yeah, it's just really good. I think I beat this in about 10 to 15 hours on and off over a few days, but it's a game that I still definitely want to go back and beat. I won't say exactly what, but once you have beaten it, you can keep playing to complete different challenges, collect trophies and things like that. I believe the Xbox achievement for completing the trophy case has a 0.02% completion rate, so I don't think I'll be doing that, but I definitely want to do a few more runs. I'm looking forward to recommending this to friends to see other people try this out and to hear their feedback about how they fared with it. The fact this is free on Game Pass is an absolute steal. Runs can take up to an hour and a half depending on how methodical you want to be. The game actually encourages you at points to have a notepad with you to make notes of your findings and puzzles and observations. So you can be really slow and methodical. I was kind of blitzing it when I had a game plan of the route I wanted to take in my last few runs. There would be runs that I would load in with not even having the mindset of trying to get to the end. I was just trying to collect permanent upgrades. There's some rooms where every time you enter it, you get a buff that stacks that's permanent. So yeah, Super fun. I don't believe I've played anything by this studio before, so I'm really curious to see what they do next. It's also worth mentioning the art style and the music are really, really cool. I don't even know why it hit so hard, but even the first like 20 seconds of when you hit start a new day and you just have like the string sound, like the guitar plucking sound as you're approaching the front steps, it's just so cool. The soundtrack, especially as you get into the end game, into the later rooms, as you're getting towards the very end itself, the 46th room, and then the ending cutscene, like the music's just great. The art style's super cool and it's so intricate. Like there's puzzles that I know are in there that I just don't know how to solve. And now that I've beaten it, I think I probably will be trying to attempt them. And if I get absolutely like completely stuck, just getting a guide up. It's also been a lot of like math. There's a lot of different types of puzzles in this. It is very much brain trainer-esque. There's logic puzzles like a deduction one. There's a maths puzzle which pushed my mental maths to the furthest it's been since, I don't know, school 10 years ago. It's baffling the amount of maths I had to do in this 10-15 hour playthrough, having to actually get a calculator up at times when you're like doing bod maths and squaring stuff, and it's a fun mental exercise. And pairing that learning experience and the puzzles with the RNG, I guess with the roguelite elements as well, it's just a perfect concoction to be like a really fun, memorable time. And I'm just hoping that more and more people play this. I'm hoping that when it comes to the Game Awards, this is still in conversation. Even though it's in April, I think hopefully there won't be too much recency bias. But obviously you have other strong contenders already, like Claire Obscure Expedition 33. This has also just come out the week I'm recording this. So yeah, I think if that can be in the discussion for Game of the Year, so can this. So I'm very curious to see where that lands at the end of the year. So I think that'll wrap up the episode. I don't want to spoil too much, but please go and see Blueprints. If you have an Xbox, if you have Game Pass, like no reason not to. Hop into it. You'll understand within the first run or two, oh, this is the crack. This is what makes this so exciting. This is why this is so fun and so addictive. So thanks for listening to this episode of the Home Screen Podcast. If you've enjoyed it, please check out our social media channels, give us a rating or a review, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.